Hey everyone, I hope you've had a good week and what an interesting week it's been. My name is Jake with Jake Trades and Invests, and on this channel I do a weekly recap of where the markets have, what the price has done for the markets and where I think the markets may be heading. So, with that said, let's jump right into our first chart. We're going to take a look here at gold. We started off the end of last week and the beginning of this week pushing higher up towards the 3,200 level before pulling back on Thursday and Friday. And we had a little bit of buying coming in to the pullback on Thursday, and then Friday we continued to sell off back towards the 20 EMA. So at the moment, it looks like gold, at least I think gold may consolidate here above, just above 3,000. It was working to fill this gap that we had from the previous week, and it looks like it filled that gap. But I think with this much momentum, the price is either going to kind of hang around the $3,000 mark here, maybe even pull back a little further down towards maybe 2970 area. Looks like we've got a little bit of support coming through that region, and that would align with the 50 EMA. So we'll wait and see what this week holds. I think coming into this week, like I said, I think the price may continue to pull back a little bit more and then start to consolidate before heading back higher. Silver has taken quite the hit on Thursday and Friday. Not quite as big of a move as gold, but we've pretty much erased all of our gains from the start of the year and are back down around $29. So at the moment, I wouldn't try to catch this falling knife. I would wait for price to consolidate and show that some buyers are stepping in. But for the medium to longer term, this could be a really good chance to buy some silver as an investment. But for trading wise, not quite ready to buy into that yet. Platinum, kind of the same story as silver. We've sold all the way back down, back to our support zone at around the 900 to 915 level. We did retest our resistance zone above that I was talking about last week, but then we came into this week and just pulled all the way back down, and we're back down to where we started the year. So let's see what the coming week or two has, see if price can kind of consolidate here around 900 or so in this support zone that goes back a couple of years. And if it can hold, maybe a good time to buy in and trade for a long. Copper, kind of the same story. Looks like all of our metals here, other than gold, have pulled back really hard to end the week. So copper's pulled all the way back down. I'm going to extend our resistance zone here just to see, by chance, does copper come all the way back down and kind of retest that zone around 420 or so. Maybe it'll come on back down and then build some support here. But yeah, after the strong moves that have been occurring over the last couple of months in copper, the sell-off pretty much erases all of that. So for now, it's just kind of a wait and see on all of these markets, and see what they're going to do in the coming weeks. Crude oil, kind of the same thing. It was heading higher to begin the week. It came up and touched the 200 EMA before turning around and selling off like the other commodities on Thursday and Friday. We've now fallen below our support zone. I'm going to zoom out here to a 5-year chart. You can see that zone goes all the way back for the last 4.5 years or so. But for the meantime, like the metals, I think oil is going to be just kind of a wait and see until price can stop selling off and build a little bit of consolidation. And I've been talking about it the last couple of weeks. I didn't think oil was a buy until we got back above the moving averages, and those averages started to turn higher, and that didn't occur. So for now, oil's still a sell for me. Natural gas was holding up pretty well, unlike the other commodities, but Friday it did start to sell off. I'm going to extend our support zone here. We're at that zone now. We'll see in the coming week if we're going to continue to sell off. I think we will, considering we've had quite a bit of selling pressure over the last couple of weeks. There's some big red candles coming through here after we went up and hit our resistance zone. So it's likely that price will fall through this week, maybe come down and test this 200 EMA and see if we can find some support there. We still have this gap all the way down here around $3.08. So it's very possible price may find its way all the way down to that $3 zone again, which is a good psychological level and also has some pretty good support and resistance in that area. So we'll watch and wait and see in the coming week or two if price can work its way down to $3, and that might be a good buy point. But again, we'll have to wait and see what the price does once it gets down there. All right, for the S&P 500, quite a bit of selling this week, some very large gaps. I had heard on another video that this is the 8th worst sell-off to start the year since the markets began trading for the S&P 500. This is the 8th worst sell-off here. So looking at the bigger picture, yeah, we've got quite a bit of momentum here to end the week. Doesn't really look like it's ready to stop yet. 5,000 is a decent psychological level, maybe for a bounce and some pause, but that's not guaranteed. So at the moment, I would not try to trade these markets or jump into this because we don't know where it's going to turn around. It's possible we come all the way back down into this 4,600 to 4,800. Let me take a look at our weekly. So we've got a weekly 200 EMA sitting around 4,800. That might be a place where the market pauses here, but it's so hard to say with this momentum behind it. But looking back over the last couple of years, 4,800 is an area where we topped out previously, and we came back up and tested it in this last rally from a year and a half ago. So 4,800 would be the area that I'd be looking at to see how price starts to react along this moving average. But again, it's no guarantee that it's going to turn around at that price. We'll stick on the weeklies for the Nasdaq because it's probably going to be a similar story here. We were in this uptrend for the last couple of years. Nasdaq has continued to sell off here. So it's possible that we get back down towards this $16,000 to $17,000 area and see how it reacts to the 200 weekly moving average before trying to get in for trades and things like that. I think we have to wait and see how price is going to react around this level. But with this much momentum over the last couple of weeks to the downside, I'm not ready to jump into that just yet. Sticking with the weeklies for the Dow, again, same thing. So much selling pressure over the last few weeks. This 36,000 level would be an area where I think a bounce could occur, given that it was previously resistance through that area. So again, just like the other indices, we'll have to wait and see if price actually comes down this far over the next week or two, and then see how it reacts once it gets there. And then for the Russell, you can see on this weekly chart that we've got this uptrend here. We're starting to tap into that support zone, and it looked like we had a little bit of buying pressure to end the week. We are below the moving averages on a weekly basis. So again, if the other markets continue to fall, it's possible this support zone is going to fall through. We do have some support down here from the last couple of years around 1650 to 1700. So we may see a little more selling into that area before we get a bounce. But right now, with price below these weekly moving averages, it's not looking very strong for the Russell. And we will end here with Bitcoin. I'm going to go back down to a daily chart. Bitcoin is continuing to hold above the 200 EMA here around 80,000. It's looking like we had a little bit of a bounce, came back down for somewhat of a retest, and this week we've just been kind of trending sideways and consolidating. But with these green candles here, it's looking like it wants to bounce. But with the other markets falling, I'm not sure if Bitcoin is going to end up following suit and pull on back below the moving averages. But at the moment, there looks like quite a bit of buying coming in around this $80,000 level. So I'd be interested to see in the next week or two if Bitcoin starts to turn higher, and see where that goes. It's possible we come back up, test our former support area as resistance before following through to the downside, but it's also, if we get some momentum behind this move, it looks like it could bounce back up and get back above this resistance zone here. But we'll just have to wait and see. So that's really all I have for this week. I appreciate anyone, as always, that has tuned in. And if you find any value from this, please give a like and a subscribe. Leave a comment if you feel like you want to. Let me know what you think. If you haven't already, please check out last week's video and see how the analysis held up. And I will see you again next week. Thanks. Have a good one.